What's up, G Show Land, and welcome to another episode of the G Show Podcast. I am G1, and this is the Godzilla Block Party. Joining me today, we have, you know him as Megalon, I know him as G73, you might know him as Megzy on the GVA page. G73, what's up, brother?
It's going good, guys. How about you?
Good. Also joining us from GVA once again. You know what? I'm not even going to talk to you. I'm going to save you for last. Let's jump real quick. Joining us once again, we have from, it's the Godzilla Fusion page. We've got Matt B. What's going on, brother?
Nothing much. It's good to be here.
Yes, sir. He was on 2 weeks ago, and we had a very good conversation. You know a lot of good stuff, bro. You know a lot of shit. So I'm happy you're back. And finally,
Finally,
coming back.
Shinji has come back to the G Show podcast. Can you smell what Shinji is cooking?
I love this guy. Yo, thanks for coming back, brother.
Fuck yeah. It's about time you start getting some F-bombs in this fucking show.
Well, this one might call for it. Because
anyone when you see my face is gonna have it.
But let me tell you something. This one might call for it because, ladies and gentlemen, today we are talking about the ugliest Godzilla looks of all time. Well, not all time, but to date. So, yeah, expect us to get kind of funky. You're going to probably agree with a lot of it. You might disagree with some of it. But the fact of the matter is this. There's some ugly shit in Godzilla's history, okay? But before we start all that, I'm gonna throw this over to G73, and because this man does a lot of work through the days, over the week, through the nights, as far as getting information for Shin Goji. Now, he's the wealth of knowledge, the well of knowledge. We're gonna go to him right now. G73, anything interesting come out this week in as far as Shin Goji news goes?
You know, this week has been very, very, let's say, limited to news, but there has been a few little nitpicks here. Mostly it has been just museum exhibits. There's been a few different ones, as the one that was going around the internet, that statue of Shin Gojira where he kind of looks like Goofy or a Dr. Seuss character. That was one going around. And there was a lot of new, just toy, more toy marketing, and let's see what else. I don't know if we talked about this, but there's Japan's growing rice fields in the shape of characters, and they have a rice paddy field that's in the shape of Shin Gojira. And also for an event they're doing in Japan, they have built or dug a life-size Shin Gojira footprint in the sand that is marked off for security, and it's going to be released for people to come see and admire when the event comes out. And I don't know the name of that event, but I'm sure I could look it up. I'm sure you could look it up. But let's see what else came around this week. There's that. Right before I got on the podcast, they put out the first trailer for the VR Godzilla game that's coming out.
Don't mess with my heart like that. Don't mess with my heart like that. You said first trailer, everybody got excited.
Yeah. Well, all right.
Not for the movie.
It was it's the trailer for the theme park ride for the VR that you put it on and you fight Godzilla with it. It wasn't the Shin Gojira VR game, or demo, not the game, the demo that they're going to be doing in October, but it was the trailer for the theme park that they're doing, or the theme park exhibit. So that was pretty much it this week. Hopefully next week is a lot better. Maybe fan art. There's been a lot of cool art that's been around. You know, Jeff Zorno put out a lot of cool art.
He did.
And just a few little pictures here and there. That's been cool. But other than that, the news has been kind of quiet. And I think that's just the calm before the storm.
Well, let's hope that storm comes and crashes down on us like a fucking typhoon next week. Oh, let's get into the the thick of it, the thick of it. There's gonna be some thick suits we're gonna be talking about, and Shingoji's here, so anything he says is thick. So this is how we're gonna do it. Listen. As you guys noticed, G95 is not with us today because he is enjoying Independence Day Resurgence, that punk. But we love him anyway, and before he went to go watch...
Really?
Well, yeah, sure, why not? Of course he is. Of course. Who wouldn't be? I would be there too if I didn't have to host the podcast. But he's... But what he did, though, is he left us his list of ugliest suits, and what I want to do with that is... run off what he said, one by one, and then each one of you will say whether you agree or disagree with what he chose, and give your reasons why. So, I'm going to start this off right now with what he said, and I should I should read his message verbatim, right? What do you think, G73, should I?
Yeah, read it verbatim. He said some funny shit.
Let's do it. All right, so G95 here, everybody. Hello, G-Showland. G95 here. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it to the show this week, even though this week's main topic is one I was very excited about. I hear we're talking about the worst Godzilla suits. All right. Since I'm not here, I'll keep my list short and sweet, and I'm sure it won't be much different than everyone else's list. Here goes. All right, so his first suit. The suit from Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. Why? It was cheesy and forgettable with a weird-ass face. All right, that's what he said about that. So the first G95 ugly suit, Godzilla versus the Sea Monster suit. Let's start with you, Matt. What do you think about that? Do you agree or disagree, and why?
I have to disagree because honestly, it's the same suit from Invasion of Astro Monster, and that suit wasn't really that different from the 64 design, except it looked a little more goofy and chunky, I guess, chubby, and really, it's not that ugly. It's just at that time it was designed more to be more child friendly. He still looked a little mean. It just, I guess I can see where he's coming from, but I just don't think it's ugly.
Gotcha. Okay. See, that's what I like about you, bro. You knew your facts. I didn't know that. See? G73, what about you? Do you agree or disagree with G95's ugly Godzilla versus the Sea Monster suit? G73, you there?
Oh, I zoned out there. I was looking at Anthony, his beautiful eyes. Yeah. It's funny because Godzilla versus the Sea Monster is one of the most memorable Godzilla movies for me, and I mean, it's rehashed. Obviously, it's from Invasion of Astro Monster and stuff like that. But to me, that suit is more memorable to me in Godzilla versus the Sea Monster than it is in Invasion of Astro Monster. I think just because as a kid I liked Godzilla versus the Sea Monster more. But I don't know. I wouldn't say it's. I mean, it could be on one of the worst lists, but it wouldn't be. Yeah, it wouldn't be one I would put at the top.
Wow, so G95, brother, you 0 for 2 right now. Do we strike out? We're going to the man himself, Shinji. I got to hear what you got to say. Do you agree or disagree with G95's ugly Godzilla suit for Godzilla vs. Sea Monster?
I did both. 150% agree and I disagree.
Wait. What?
You can't do that.
Unpopular opinion. Always unpopular opinion. That's why I started GDA. Anyway, so this is...
Fuck's GDA.
Godzilla vs. all, baby. Anyway. It's one of my most hated suits. It's the Dasensa Goju suit. What, like Matt said, not too far off from the 64 suit, because it was used in 64 for Astro Monster. But by the time I got to Sea Monster, it was really worn out and just getting to be an old suit. They even used it again in Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster in the scene where he just comes out of the water, and by that time that suit is just fucking trash. I've never liked that suit. I've always hated that fucking suit. To me, it makes Godzilla not necessarily ugly, but like really stupid looking. He just looks dumb, like mindless. That's the way I've always felt about that suit. I don't think there's anything that really sticks out about the suit. Not the spikes, not the legs, not the tail, nothing. I think it's one of the worst made suits. So that's why I somewhat agree. But I don't think it's an ugly suit per se. Just one not, made with a lot of heart. Yeah. So that's my opinion.
All right, look at that. So we got 2 likes and 1, back and forth. Yeah.
I hate it. That would have been number 1 on my list too. I fucking hate that suit.
Oh, number 1 on your list. All right. Remember you said that for later. Personally, I don't have a problem with the Sea Monster suit, but I do agree with you, Shingoji. I think that it is a goofy look to it. And maybe that's because Kong was supposed to originally be in that movie. And we know those Kong suits that Toho made are not the prettiest things at all. So maybe they were trying to, kid-friendly Godzilla for that particular moment in time. Because, Astro Monster was his legit first time turn as a heroic figure. Because even in Get Rid of the Three-Headed Monster, he really wasn't a heroic figure yet. He still came out, he still rampaged, he fought Rodan, and, that classic scene in the American version, Godzilla, with what language? Godzilla was a badass. So,
that's me.
Yeah, you should change your name. You should change your name to that Godzilla. But so, yeah. Well, I don't hate it. I do think it is slightly goofy. But anyway, that's it. That's the first one. So, okay, Sea Monster, check. We got that out of the way. Okay, let's go to G95's next one. And I quote, Final Goji suit. Why? The duck.
Oh, no.
Yeah, here we go.
Are you sure you want to do this one?
Oh, we're going. We're going. This is what G95 said. We're going.
This is going to piss a lot of people off.
That's okay. Ready? Final Goji suit. Why? The duck face mainly, and the fact that Godzilla didn't look very threatening or imposing. We're going to start with you, G73. Do you agree or disagree with your co-admin on the G Show, G95?
I think I don't know, because it did. I don't get intimidated by the Godzilla suits. They're just cool designs. There are some parts in Godzilla Final Wars that show this Godzilla look very, I would say maybe very intimidating in the sense that you can't fucking mess with him. Like the part where he roars and then you see the flame in his eye. I mean, he has those very black, dull eyes. I think that's he's a very heroic-looking Godzilla, but I don't think I don't think it's the best suit. I don't really think it's a bad suit at all. But I just think it was just Toho's last, essentially their last shot at Hero Godzilla, and I think it was pulled off all right. So I don't know. I think I would disagree with that. It's not bad.
All right, Matt, what's up, bro? Let me hear. Do you agree or disagree with G95's quote that he doesn't like the Final Goji suit?
I just got done watching a video a couple days ago about someone who didn't like the Final Goji suit. Is pointing out all the flaws. He said that the spines were too short, his legs were too fat, he was too skinny, and honestly, the Final Goji suit looks like a younger version of the Kiryu Goji suit. And there's an uncanny resemblance. It's just minor differences.
Of the which suit? I'm sorry. Come again? The which suit?
Hero Goji.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't hear that. My computer broke up.
Yeah, the Kiryu Goji suit from the Kiryu saga?
Yes.
It looks like a younger version of that. I mean, it's the same kind of body structure. It just looks different in a way. I don't think it looks ugly. It looks badass. I don't understand why it would get presented ugly. Probably because it looks kind of skinny and not as bulky as the other suits look. That's my guess.
All right. Okay. So you don't hate it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right. Now we go to our resident fuck buddy. Wait, that came out wrong. Shin Goji. Do you agree or disagree?
Do I need to pull out now?
Yeah, we are all over the place with this one, ladies and gentlemen. Shin Goji, do you agree or disagree? The final Goji suit, ugly or not?
I disagree, but I mean, there's definitely things I could point out as to why he would think so. I just think it's not a classically made Godzilla suit, and therefore it's not really appreciated for what it is. The snout. There's something about that snout that doesn't even look reptilian. It kind of, a lot of people would say it looks like a dog or a wolf.
Yes.
I mean, it's one of those things that just really sticks out. And for a movie like Final Words, which was supposed to be, like the shit, you wanted something a little more memorable than that, and it just gets a very polarized view. Where some guys really like it, or some guys really hate it. But I myself, I really don't hate it. I just think it's one of those,
Manila looked pretty bad in that movie, though.
Minya, yeah.
Not as bad as he did in the Showa series. I mean, so he got that going for him.
That's true.
Yeah, but I don't hate it. I disagree.
All right, look at that. I like this. This is actually fun. We should do more of these.
I agree.
I'm gonna agree with you guys. But I will say it's not a memorable look. I do like I like what you said. I never thought of it this way. A younger Kiru Goji look, and I'm like, holy shit, yeah, I can see that. I'm gonna get into that a little later on. It was for me a slimmed down Hesse suit, Hesse, however you want to say it. That's what it felt like to me. And the face, like you said, the snout. There's something about Godzilla, especially in the Hesse saga. He's almost cat-like. He's almost feral. In this, he did look like a dog, or I heard rat a couple of times, and I see it. You can see it. Ratatouille Godzilla, or as G95 put it, the duck face. It's, I don't hate it, but it's not really memorable. So yeah, that's how I look at it. All right, G95, what do you have next for us? Oh, I guess I'll read it. Ready?
How many beers you got with you, brother?
I got a couple, man. Listen, it's been a long week, so you know what? G1 is gonna handle his business. I don't care. G95's next ugly Godzilla suit. Here we go. King Kong versus Godzilla suit. Oh yeah. Why?
Oh, boo.
Well, we gotta get to you. Relax. Why? Poorly made, way too rubbery, and it creases and folded when Godzilla moved, but it fit the movie. Okay, so, you guys, did you soak that in? I'm going to start with you first, Shin Goji, because you're making a lot of noise. Do you agree or disagree with G95 with the King Kong versus Godzilla suit?
Complete, utter disagreement. It's one of my favorite suits.
Okay.
I understand why some people hate it. The shape of the head is a little off for some people. The lack of ears after having two movies with ears. I get that, but in a sense, that's the look of Heisei Goji as a profile. Look at those legs. That was the first massive meaty leg Godzilla. And they have
his name is Bubba.
One of the few Godzillas to actually have thick arms and thick hands. I don't think there's another suit that had a thicker hands than Godzilla 62. Total disagreement, man. It's probably one of my top 4 or 5 Showa Goji suits.
All right, not bad. All right, G73. Do you agree or disagree with G95?
It's one of my favorite suits. But I do see. I mean, I do know the parts of it that are ugly, but I think it's one of the most unique suits they've made. I mean, you don't really see any other suits like it. I liked a lot about it because it just looked very reptilian and it looked very, very massive. I mean, his hands were big. His whole body structure was just massive. And I remember as a kid watching that, and when he pops out of the ice, and then he's entering, Japan, and they're all shooting tanks at him from the water. Just how big he looked. I just thought that was badass. And as a kid, I was like, "Yeah, this is cool."
One of my favorite scenes in Godzilla history, right there, bro. You just gave me goosebumps.
I agree, and I don't want to interrupt, and I'm sorry, but I forgot to say too. He has a very like troll face look to him. He has that little kind of like, especially when he does some shit to Kong, and that's some character that was not really displayed on any other Godzilla suit.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would disagree on that one. I mean, I disagree, but I agree somewhat because there are parts of it that are kind of like, you can tell, but it's one of my favorite designs, so I can't really hate what I love.
All right, Matt, let me ask you, man, do you agree or disagree with G95s? And let me ask you this, I'm going to throw this on top. Do you think that...
agree.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this also. Do you think that Godzilla was beefed up because of Kong? Because, Kong's a giant ape and he's already beefy. Do you think Toho consciously beefed up Godzilla for the match?
Possibly. Yeah, that's a good possibility. This was probably one of the bigger suits for the Showa series because he was really beefy. But this was, I don't think I will say though that he looks extremely goofy and especially whenever he claps in the movie, you can just tell that he looks goofy. I always thought that it looked like the face, especially, looked like a Showa series. Trying to look for the words. Equivalent to the Godzilla 2000 face. The way it's elongated like a crocodile. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna agree with you there because that's pretty much how I think of that suit. I think of the G2K suit. The face being inspired by the King Kong versus Godzilla suit face. Like G73 said, very reptilian. That was the most lizard-like Godzilla has ever looked. So I totally like it. It's one of my favorite suits. I do understand why it is ugly, but it's one of my favorite suits. I wouldn't necessarily put it there. It's just because it's King Kong versus Godzilla. That's huge. So maybe my emotions would get the better of me on that. So I'm going to have to disagree with you there, G95. Oh, my God. G95, you're in a hole, brother. Because a lot of people disagreeing with you, man. Not doing too good. But anyhow, let's move on to the next one, which should get some, eyebrows raised. Godzilla 1985. Why?
Wow.
Yo.
Wow.
Okay. Listen.
Who gave this guy your role on it?
I did. Listen, hey, G95, I love you very much, and I thank you for everything you do on the G Show over the weekend when I'm not around. Thank you very much. But you're a fucking lunatic. Okay, so the Godzilla 1985 suit. Why? Derpy eyes. Nuff said. That was a quote directly from G95. We're going to start with you, Matt. Do you agree or disagree with G95's Godzilla 1985 being an ugly suit?
I have to disagree yet again. And this is going to be like fourth time in a row. And
yeah, every suit.
I can see the eyes. Honestly, if the eyes are nothing, because he looks pretty menacing in the film. It's about it. That's what does the suit good. It's that glare look he gives. It makes it look like he doesn't give a shit. So, honestly, there's nothing ugly about the suit. I mean, it looks good for the time that movie was made, 84. So I don't think it's that. I think that besides that, the eyes actually work for the suit.
All right, so yeah, you disagree. That's cool. See, that's one disagreement. G95. We're gonna jump over there to Shingoji. Well, do you agree or disagree with the
Total
Godzilla?
fucking disagreement.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Anyway, I think that's the most recognizable and memorable silhouettes of any Godzilla. I think.
I'm clapping. I agree. I was going to say that. You stole the words right out of my mouth.
Well, I mean, especially as he walks away after dropping that gigantic reactor. I mean, there's nothing that just says more Godzilla than the way he looked from behind as well. I think that's what classically made Godzilla for the high side series, and they stuck with it, minus the color of the eyes and just a few little small details, maybe the change of the shape of the head. Because the head shape was a little big, but in no way would I consider this one of the ugliest suits at all. I think it's probably 2 or 3 in the high side series itself. Yeah, it shouldn't be on that list. I understand the derpy eyes is a really issue for some people, but that in itself shouldn't make it an ugly suit. And yeah, that was a bad one, Matt.
G73, are you going to come to the defense of your co-admin, or are you going to throw him under the bus with the rest of us?
I'm going to reroute us for a second, which I'm going to say it is one of the ugliest designs, yes, but is in this case is ugly necessarily bad. This Godzilla, he does, his eyes make him look retarded. Retarded. Special. He has the derpy eyes. Yeah, I'll give him that. And Bio Goji is my favorite Godzilla. So I kind of have to give it leniency with that, because if it wasn't for 85, Bio Goji probably wouldn't be made. But I agree, it is an ugly looking Godzilla in 84. So I agree with him. It's probably it's not the ugliest Godzilla design, but it's one of them. I mean, but it's not necessarily a bad design. I mean, there's a difference between ugly and horrible looking. So that's what I'll add to that.
Gotcha. Get the shovel. I'm putting dirt on this one. This suit is not ugly. I'm sorry. Look, derp eyes aside, this suit, like you said, Shingoji, is the perfect Godzilla silhouette. Seriously, it is the perfect Godzilla silhouette. And I am a giant fan of the Heisei series look. But Godzilla 84, 85, that suit was perfect. And I'm going to say something. You talk about the derpy eyes. That was the second time those eyes were used. The first time was in King Kong versus Godzilla. And I don't hate that. I don't hate it. The half eyes, the high look, however you want to call it, the high noon eyes. It brings there is one scene in that movie when Godzilla comes out in Tokyo Bay, and everybody unleashes on him. Boom, boom, boom. The missiles are going off. Everybody's shooting at him with machine guns. He's getting hit. And then he looks. That scene is like a close-up. It zooms in. And his eyes just like, boom. You see the ferocity in it. That shot alone.
Perfection.
I mean, because that was the scariest fucking Godzilla I've ever seen. I was like, oh, crap. I crap my pants. Pissing shit all over the floor. My mom's beating me over the head with a slipper. Because that's just what it scared the fuck out of me. So G95, I gotta disagree with you there, brother.
I agree with you there, because when I was a kid, 85 was pretty chilly to me too.
That is for me. That is seriously top contender for one of the greatest Godzilla suits of all time. I love it. The derpy eyes and all. I love it. So yeah, G95. I wish you were here to defend yourself. I'm sure I'm gonna give you 10 minutes next week to just reconcile.
Assholes.
Oh yeah, that's fine. So, all right. So moving on. we're getting down to the end here for G95. His next suit, and I think we probably all agree with this. Son of Godzilla suit.
Yeah. I'm
Why?
legit times for that to show up.
I think he was saving the best for last, to be honest with you. So, or the worst, who knows? All right. So G95 has Son of Godzilla suit as one of the ugliest of all time. Why? And this is his quote: "An affront to God (parentheses Zilla) himself." Wow. Fuck this suit and the drugs it probably took to look like that. You have a son to look after. You shouldn't be taking drugs! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! I love you, G95. You are the fucking man. So, I'm gonna jump start with you, G73. Do you agree or disagree with G95?
Well, I agree 100%. That is my least favorite Godzilla suit. Gosh, I loathe this suit. I hate it. I wish I could burn it and bury this suit. It has no business being a Godzilla suit at all. It just looks like they stretched out a frog's face. I hate it so much, and I mean, and you know what the thing is that for such a beautiful message of a movie, they give us that Godzilla design. It's just kind of sad. I mean, I love the message behind that movie, which is, you know, fatherly love and a son, you know, parent compassion. But when you have a Godzilla that looks worse than almost Kim Kardashian,
Hey, I want to top that ass.
how many beers first?
I don't drink.
It's just not the, you know, this. I would rather just watch baby Godzilla crawl around in the snow for the whole movie than see Godzilla fight.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Matt, what about you? Do you agree or disagree? Matt, you there with me, brother?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Do you agree or do you disagree with the Son of Godzilla suit?
100% disagree. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I agree, obviously. I don't get how it wasn't number one, honestly. I don't know how it even made it to the film. It just looks absolutely horrendous. I can't even, words can't describe how ugly that suit looks. I think the suit would have been better if they used the suit from the Destroy All Monsters onwards. That probably would have made a better movie.
I agree. I totally agree with that. So now we're going to go over to Shingoji, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I want to hear you say it anyway.
Yeah, that honestly would be the worst, ugliest Godzilla suit. Ugliest, yes. But even still, I still think the first one we talked about, the Sensugoji, I hate that fucking suit even more than I hate the other Godzilla suit. Yeah, that suit, you know, I don't know what they're on. I know they're trying to make Godzilla bigger to make, you know, to be the fatherly figure for Minya, and then they try to make the facial structure to somehow match Minya, but it just didn't work. It just didn't fall through. I think whatever they were trying to picture just didn't work for the average Godzilla fan. He looks fat. He looks dumb. He does. I mean, that's one of the fattest Godzilla suits, even on top of the Godzilla 62.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. So G98 is lean and athletic, right? So anyway, yeah, I mean, that should be on everybody's ugliest Godzilla suit. Honestly, I mean, it was complete trash. But Sensugoji is still the ugliest and most hated, in my opinion.
I'm surprised he hasn't picked a 98.
We ain't get there yet.
Well, it has to be a Godzilla in order to pick it.
We didn't get there yet.
That's going to piss off some people.
Listen, man.
I don't give a fuck about their opinions.
And that's why we have him on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I do agree with all of you and G95. I think this one was a clean sweep. This was the most ugliest, horrendous suit of all time. But I'm going to say this. when it was used in Godzilla's Revenge, it really made me hate that movie so much. I understand. I mean, I don't get into arguments on the internet like other people. I understand when people say Godzilla's Revenge, they like it. I hate that movie. I hate it. Not because I'm a bully or nothing like that. Just because I don't get this shit out of here. Where Son of Godzilla, I actually like that movie a lot. But that suit is fucking horrendous. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this podcast right now, you will see that this is the suit I chose for today's picture for the Godzilla Block Party. So, oh, it is. That's right. This is the suit I chose for this particular podcast episode because it is by far the fucking ugliest Godzilla suit of all time. And I still got some shit to say. So that's not even about that, but this is it. This is number one by far. I don't know where the fuck Toho was going. And I love what G95 says. You know, the drugs it probably took to look like that. That is funny. Funny. But
we all know Shala was really influenced by drugs. Smog Monster. Sorry.
Well, yeah. Well, G95. Well, thank you for the segue because G95's last thing actually is with a quick mention to the Godzilla vs. Megalon suit. While it is definitely kind of cartoony looking, it fits hand in hand with the tone of the movie perfectly, and I like it a lot. So now G95 he's saying it's an ugly suit, but he likes it a lot. I'm going to start this one off and say, this is one of my favorite Godzilla suits of all time. I love this movie. Maybe it's because it's the first Godzilla movie I owned, you know? But I love the look of this suit. Yes, he did have bigger eyes, but they were proportioned. You know, it wasn't silly. He was... In this movie, for me, Godzilla looked like a superhero. That's how I felt when I watched Megalon. Give him a cape, and, you know, he's Super G. So... I would never put him on my worst looks list because I love this look. But that's just me. G73, what do you think about Godzilla vs. Megalon suit? Love it or hate it?
Is it Megaro or Megalo Goji, whatever? I don't know what they call it. That whole series, you know, from Godzilla vs. Megalon and Mechagodzilla and Terra Mechagodzilla. That was the suit they also used in Zone Fighter with Ultraman.
Yep.
And stuff. And I loved that design as a kid growing up because I feel the same. It was a very superhero, looking Godzilla. But I mean, he was probably the best fighter out of all of the Godzillas too. I mean, he threw some punches, man. And I just love that. And there's certain parts where he just looked pissed and irritated, and he looked pretty intimidating in some parts. It had a look. I mean, I wouldn't say cartoony. I would say comic booky looking.
I agree.
But it's not at all to me a bad design or an ugly design. I think it's probably one of the most appropriate designs of that era, in my opinion.
Shinji, what have you got to say about that?
Megalo Goji is actually my favorite Godzilla suit. The 73 version is my least favorite of the 3 movie versions because the eyes are too cartoony, too kiddish for me, and you know how I feel about all the things aiming to the kids.
They felt very anime-ish, almost. It was big.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. But the suit itself, like I said, it's my favorite Godzilla suit, if not tied for first with the GMK. Anyway.
You're definitely on drugs.
I mean, it has its flaws, just like any Godzilla suit. It has its flaws. But the 73 version with the eyes just kind of... They didn't hit the nail on the head until 74 when they nailed the eyes in 74. But then, by 75, most people like the 75 version where they made the eyes even meaner. But the suit itself started to just kind of tear away at that point.
Yeah.
But I don't think this should be anywhere near an ugliest or a hated list, honestly.
I think this might be the cutest Godzilla we ever had, to be honest with you.
Aw.
Yeah. He cuddly.
Yeah. Matt, what do you think, brother? You agree or disagree?
I have to agree with Shingo stated how it's really cute. I would not call it ugly. For the time, the Friend of All Children saga he was in, it really, I think the suit was utilized better in Mechagodzilla rather than Megalon, because I haven't really seen Megalon that much, and I watch Mechagodzilla time to time. So, yeah, especially with the eyes and all that. So I really don't think it really needs to be ugly. It's just its own thing.
Gotcha.
It looks mean, so.
Gotcha. Well, that would do it for G95's picks and how we dissected most of that and agreed with one, like complete sweep. So, I'm going to now jump into if there was anything missing. I want to know what you guys, feel if there's anything missing. I'm going to start with you, Shinji. Was there something missing off of that list? Is there any other ugly Godzilla suits that G95 didn't say?
I have a few. I'm going to start with the. It's the second version of the Masu Goji suit when they used it in Ghidra the Three-Headed Monster. I really don't like what they did with the face on that, man. To me, I don't know. Some people like it. He just looks, again, kind of like the Daisensu Goji, just really dumb looking. Like he has no mind whatsoever. And I really hate that suit. I don't think it's an ugly suit.
I hear one of y'all going at it. Who was that agreeing there? Was that G73?
Yeah. No, I agree with that 100% because 64 Godzilla, that was one of my favorite designs too, and I was very upset when they didn't use that in any more of the movies. I wish they used that furthermore.
Well, the reason why is because of Ultraman. They used the head for, I think it was Jiris first.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why, but it still doesn't do justification for how ugly that fucking suit was.
Yeah. I was kind of bummed. But yeah, I mean, if you want me to add what I was going to add to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can. After Godzilla versus, this is Heisei series, after Godzilla versus Mothra, all the way up to Space Godzilla, well, I don't know. That design kind of went back and forth with different variations of Biogoji. And it looked like a rat, it looked like a bat, and it looked like a cat, and it, everything, it looked like almost everything put together. And that, to me, was kind of one of the most, that's one of the ugliest designs I've seen. The one that, it has a silhouette of Godzilla, but it does not, in my opinion, resemble Godzilla. I don't care for the rest of the Heisei series designs until Destroy All Monsters. Not Destroy All Monsters, Destroya. And to me, in the Heisei series, it's Biogoji, King Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla 2, and then Destroya, and that's how it goes for me. The in between there is just kind of that design kind of had stock footage back and forth that kind of looked really gross. It just in the beginning of Mechagodzilla 2 when Godzilla pops out of the ocean and he has that bat looking like face and stuff. That just yuck.
If I'm not mistaken,
that actually wasn't a suit. That was a close-up model.
That was a model, yeah.
Whoa. I didn't know that either.
And I think there's a sequence in Mothra when he's in the water that's actually the Biogoji suit. If I'm not mistaken. When Mothra hatches from the egg, that's the Biogoji suit that's being used there.
Yeah,
Well, when he walks out of the volcano, it's the 1991 suit that's used most of the time.
Yeah, you could definitely die. But Matt, go ahead, man. Do you have anything else that G95 didn't say? Do you have an ugly suit that you wanted to talk about?
This might be a surprise, but I gotta go with Godzilla suit from Megaguirus. I just don't like the way it looked out. It looked awesome in 2000. I just don't like the way they used it in Megaguirus because I don't like the purple spines or just the. It just looked like after 2000 was a success. They did the same thing with Raids Again where they rushed into it to make a sequel or another film in the series, and I just don't like the way that it was presented.
You made it really silly too.
Did they make it greener?
Yeah, the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, man, I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, they did make it greener and the spikes more purple.
Right.
But I'll agree. I mean, in a way, it kind of even looks because they oversaturated it and it made it look faded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It went the opposite way.
But that movie in its own just had its silly moments. I mean, just that whole final battle. I mean, you can laugh your ass off watching that, especially on his brilliant swan dive he does on Megaguirus. You know, just, gosh. There's just silly parts about that movie.
I was a lucky soul. I was one of the lucky fortunate, and my wife, well, she was there, so I actually got to see that movie at G-Fest in 2001.
That's cool.
Yeah, we got to see that.
You told us about that.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm there. There's a bunch of us in a hot room watching it on a VHS on like maybe a 25-inch screen. And, yeah, for real, there had to be like 40, 50 people crammed in this room watching this movie. And, you know, you get hyped up with everybody in the crowd. You feel the energy. And Shinji, you know what I'm talking about. Because, you know, you used to perform in a crowd when you was doing your Chippendale stunts.
I still do that.
You still do that. But you know what I'm talking about. You feel the energy with the crowd, and you're watching something everybody loves, and you know we're all here for one reason. So you know, seeing Megaguirus the first time, man, I absolutely love that movie. Seeing it for the 25th time, I'm like, yeah, maybe not so much. It's fun, but you know. I have more fun with the human characters in that movie for whatever reason, and the black hole gun than I do with the actual the final battle. So yeah, I do agree though, Matt. That's a good call, the Megaguirus suit, because I actually, and this is going to go against a lot of people's popular beliefs, I don't like the Kiru Goji suit at all. I hate it. I hate it. I don't like it. I hate that suit, and I'll tell you why I hate it. A couple of reasons, and I'm not dogging nobody here, so I want everybody to be clear here. I'm not dogging anybody here, but the IDW comic book series, whenever Matt Frank is drawing Godzilla, he's drawing that suit mixed with some Hesai, and so those damn neck spikes that I fucking hate that shit. What is that? What is it there for?
It looks like a cobra.
Yeah.
It's supposed to emulate a cobra, yeah.
But I hate it so much. I can't stand it. I absolutely can't stand it. And then when I see the artwork in the comic books, I get even more mad. I'm like, oh my God. Don't get me wrong. Matt Frank makes it look better than it does in the movie. But I hate those damn spikes, like those little things jutting out of his neck. The cobra hood, I hate it. I hate it so much. I don't like the crocodile face. They brought down the spikes a bit because, you know, this suit was based off of the G2K and the Megaguirus suit. They reined in the spikes. It doesn't look, they're not so long and jagged. They rein it in some. But yeah, I hate that suit so much. It looks goofy on a front, a straightaway shot of that suit. The face, it's just goofy looking. I can't stand it, man. Put the goofy head on that one. I don't like it. That's just how I feel. And so I'm gonna go.
Well, one thing about the Kiru Goji suit, this is something like not a lot of people really point out, but it has a small head and a small head to the body, and it doesn't fit.
It doesn't.
Everything starting from Godzilla '84 all the way through the rest of the Heisei series, the head was just a different odd size. 84 was actually a little too big, and everything from 89 onwards was too small. and they made the thighs way too heavy looking in a certain way. I understand that you want to have like some mass musculature, but he kind of looks angular. And now with the Shin Godzilla, man, you just seen all the jokes we did on DVA about that. They need to get some proportioning. You know what I mean? They got to learn how to proportion Godzilla right. They did fine in the show series for the most part. I understand they wanted to add size, but they're not doing it in all the right places, basically.
Well, you got to look at it like this too with the Showa series, especially towards the end. It was about the fights, so you got to make that suit agile. So you're not going to make it bulky and clunky. And again, I defend the Heisei series forever. That's to me the best series. I love the suits. I don't hate any one of those suits. I do get thunder thighs in Mechagodzilla 2 and Space Godzilla. I get it, but still, for me, that shit is the suit, the look, everything is just spot on awesome. But yeah, man, those well, I'm not gonna jump into that. Does anybody else have another suit they think is horrible? Or
I have one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
I really hate the 55 suit. I really don't like the Godzilla Raids Again suit.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and no, don't get me wrong, I like the fangs. I like what they're trying to do with the fangs, but I think the rest, the suit, I understand was also trying to make it, more mobile for Hiro Nakajima to move around in. But it just came across as poorly done, just like, especially around the face. It just kind of looks kind of goofy and like his head bobbles around, kind of like, one of those Dodger figures or whatever you like. I mean, that was the first real goofy suit. I mean, even before 62. It didn't come across it. I mean, it's one of the least memorable Godzilla movies on top of that, especially with the horrible dubbing American version that they have. Just the suit, everything was just lackluster about that.
I actually like that movie a lot, so you hurt my feelings.
The Japanese version is way better
way
than the American version.
No, it is. I watch the Japanese version all the time, but I do see what you're saying. I get it. I totally understand, because there are times where I look at that suit and I'm like, but they had to make it.
And I'm not talking about the models too, because the models could be their own separate subject. All the models, were horrible. Even the first Godzilla 64, all the models were just complete shit. We're talking about suits here.
We're talking about the suits, right?
Yeah, the suit for 55 didn't do it for me. There were some angles and some pictures I've seen, regarding to the movie where it does look good, but for watching the movie, I don't see it. I don't see those same shots.
Gotcha. Matt, do you have any other suit that you think is just shit, or you done?
I'm pretty much done, man.
Gotcha. What about you, G73?
I was kind of thinking, I don't know. I love, this is kind of an unpopular opinion, I think, maybe, but the suit used throughout Godzilla versus Smog Monster and Godzilla versus Gigan, that one's kind of not the best, but I don't know I don't really know where I stand on that one, just because I feel like it's probably one of the better Showa suits.
Well, that's using Destroy All Monsters and Godzilla's Revenge, too. But by those two movies, it was getting really beaten down and old. And I don't know, just didn't carry very well over those next couple of years.
Yeah. It kind of, with the history of Godzilla, there's been just a lot of rehashed designs. And, I mean, money is, always a thing, so you have to use the suits to keep the budget going, but it would have been interesting to see if all these movies had different designs for each movie. But yeah, I mean, and like I said with the Heisei series, I love the Heisei series too. That's my favorite out of all of them, but I just think towards the end there, when they just kind of threw off Godzilla's look a little bit. But it's not enough for me to just be like, I can't, it's not like I can't watch the movies. It's just, I just think it's kind of, just how I kind of feel.
Gotcha. Well then, I got all of you guys. Nothing else? Shinji, you done? That's it?
Well, I'm going through in my head real quickly. I think we've covered them all. I mean, a lot of people would put GMK as ugly suit, but that's if not my favorite suit, it's my second favorite
That's
suit.
a crazy
Is
notion.
it too early to put Shin Gojira as the ugliest suit?
No, it's not, because that's how I was going to end the show.
You're going to do that. I was like, what?
Oh, no, that's how I was going to end the show. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. My final top #1 pick of the ugliest Godzilla suit, next to Son of Godzilla, is that goddamn Shin Godzilla suit. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. I don't care what he says. I don't care what she says. I don't care what anybody says. That suit's fucking ugly. It's ugly. And it's not a suit. It's CG. But it's a disgusting, ugly thing. And I guess that works because that's what they're going for. So, yeah, I can't be that mad at it. But
I just
fuck
think
that suit.
the shape is just terrible.
It's so unproportioned.
It looks like one of those. You ever see one of those little back in you're as old as I am, man. You remember those little you could hit those balloons and they have a little sandbag at the bottom of them so you can hit them and go like this. That's what Shin Goji reminds me of.
Oh man, you brought it back just there. I'm just saying, listen, I know a lot of people love it. A lot of people defend it. I hate that look. I do, but I understand it. Well, I don't understand it because I ain't seen the movie yet.
No, it looks like a circus mirror.
It looks like a circus mirror. But here's the thing. In certain shots, it's so ugly and disproportionate, but then in other shots, it actually looks fucking great.
In some shots, one of the best. Actually, it reminds me a lot of Godzilla '84, minus the redness in it. Especially like I was talking about that scene where Godzilla drops a reactor, and there's a very memorable back view of Godzilla.
I love that shot.
There's a couple pics of Shin Godzilla that reminds me of that.
Yeah.
Especially in the dorsal fins.
Yes.
Yeah. But that full frontal figure. Oh my God, that was terrible.
Listen, I think for me the worst, the biggest thing on Shinji's look is those eyes, those goofy, googly eyes. And I know a lot of people like it, but every time I see them, I think of those fucking things you get in a 25-cent thing. You pull them out, and you shake it, and the eyes just roll all over the place. It looks to me like when Godzilla takes a step, his eyes are going... No. That's not Godzilla. I can't stand it. Get with the freaking program, Toho. And that's the end of the best damn Godzilla podcast I've ever been on because, and I say it every week, it's the only damn Godzilla podcast I've ever been on. I want to thank my panel with me today. Matt, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it, brother.
No problem, man.
Yes, sir. G73, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you.
And Shinji, take us out with a curse word.
Well, every time I'm on the show, I raise your fucking ratings.
It's your face. That's why I got distracted earlier.
I want to point this out. That is absolutely not true. So, I'm going to bring it down a bit. Let me bring it back in. Okay? Let me be the old guy. And this is how we're going to end the show. Let me be that old guy in 1998 who was fishing for trout on the Hudson River and instead caught a mockery of Godzilla. I'm bringing your back end because you, my friend, actually, without you, went a little higher. But who knows? This one might be one of those episodes that we get 100,000 views. And that'd be good for business for everybody. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm G1. This is the G Show Podcast. It's the Godzilla Block Party. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.